Some teachers leave the classroom when they retire. But this one? He taught his final and funniest lesson long after hanging up his chalk. What started as an ordinary trip turned into a story that would make the whole town laugh, think, and even tear up. This is the story of Mr. David Brown, a kind old teacher who accidentally gave the greatest lesson of his life to a thief. After 40 years of teaching high school English, Mr. David Brown finally retired. He and his wife, Martha, lived in a modest apartment in downtown Chicago. Their home was filled with books, memories, and a quiet kind of happiness. Each morning, they sat by the window sipping coffee, watching life go by. For the first time in decades, there were no essays to grade, just peace. One morning, Martha said, "David, it's been years since we visited the old town. Let's go see your sister and our old friends." He smiled. "You're right. It's time." They began packing for a week-long trip to their hometown, 2 hours away. Everything seemed normal, until David locked the door that evening and paused, a thought creeping into his mind. What if someone breaks in while we're gone? He wondered aloud. They could wreck the place looking for money we don't even have. Martha laughed softly. "Oh, David, who'd rob a retired teacher?" But David wasn't convinced. He'd seen enough news stories, thieves breaking into apartments for nothing. He didn't want his home turned upside down. That's when an idea struck him, a clever, very teacher-like idea. He sat at his desk, pulled out a notepad, and began to write. "If I can't stop a thief," he murmured, "maybe I can teach him something instead." He placed a crisp tenner bill next to the note on the dining table. Martha peeked over his shoulder, half amused, half curious. "You're leaving money for a thief?" David grinned. "Just a small lesson in honesty, with a dash of humor." The note started with elegance and wit. "Dear unknown thief, first of all, congratulations. Breaking into a stranger's home takes both courage and poor decision-making skills. Unfortunately, you've chosen the wrong house. I'm a retired teacher, not a millionaire. There's nothing here worth stealing." He paused, smiling at his own sarcasm. "I'm truly sorry your time and effort might go to waste. So please accept this small amount as appreciation for your hard work." He even managed to sound polite while writing to a thief. David chuckled, tapped his pen on the paper, and continued. "But since I've spent my whole life teaching, I can't resist giving you some professional guidance to help you excel in your chosen career." He leaned back, thinking of the people in his building who were far richer and far less honest. He began listing better opportunities. 8th floor, a corrupt city official who loves bribes. 7th floor, a dishonest real estate broker. 6th floor, a greedy bank manager. 5th floor, a factory owner who cheats workers. 4th floor, a lawyer who bends justice. 3rd floor, a politician drowning in dirty money. These people have more cash than they can count, he wrote. If you visit them, they won't even feel the loss, and they surely won't call the police. He signed it simply. Sincerely, David Brown, retired teacher. The next morning, David placed the note neatly on the table, right beside the $10 bill. He locked the apartment door, smiled at Martha, and said, "Well, if a thief comes, he'll leave educated." She rolled her eyes. "Only you would turn a robbery into a teaching opportunity." They left for their trip laughing, never imagining what would happen next. A week later, they returned, tired but happy. David unlocked the door and froze. Right there on the dining table, where he had left a single note, now sat a large black duffel bag. Martha gasped. "David, what is that?" He stepped closer, his heart pounding. David carefully unzipped the bag and nearly fell backward. It was packed full of cash, bundles upon bundles of crisp $100 bills. Martha covered her mouth in disbelief. "David, where did this come from?" Inside the bag lay another envelope. David opened it slowly, hands trembling. The letter inside read, "Dear Mr. Brown, thank you for your valuable advice and wisdom. I followed your guidance carefully, and you were right. Your list was perfect. My mission was a complete success. Please accept this small token of appreciation for your guidance. I hope to continue learning from great teachers like you. Your student, the thief." Martha stared, speechless. David slowly lowered the letter, then burst into laughter that echoed through the apartment. "I thought I was done teaching," David chuckled between laughs. "But it seems my lessons are still changing lives." Martha shook her head, smiling. "Only you, David, only you." They both laughed, half in disbelief, half in admiration of the irony. Within days, neighbors heard about the teacher and the thief. Everyone laughed, but they also admired David's wit. Even the local newspaper ran a story titled, "Retired Teacher's Note Changes a Thief's Mind and His Fortune." Part 14. Behind the humor, there was a deep truth. A true teacher never stops teaching. Even in retirement, David managed to inspire, not through lectures, but through kindness, cleverness, and humor. His letter didn't just teach the thief. It reminded everyone that wisdom is more powerful than wealth. Part 15. Teaching, David realized, was never about textbooks or exams. It was about shaping how people think, how they see the world, and how they treat others. Every life he touched, even the thief's, was proof that real education goes far beyond classrooms and grades. You can retire from your job, but you can never retire from your purpose. Years later, people still shared the story of the teacher who taught a thief. It became a tale of wit, wisdom, and kindness, and passed from classroom to classroom, generation to generation. David often smiled when people asked about it. He'd simply say, "It was just another lesson from one of my most unusual students, Piotr." And that, my friends, was the teacher's last lesson. It may sound funny, but it carries a message we all need to remember. No act of wisdom ever goes to waste. If you believe teachers truly make the world better, hit the like button, share this story with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more heart-touching stories every week. Because sometimes, the smallest lessons leave the biggest marks.